All right, some surprising news from our neighbors to the north. The Toronto Raptors possibly looking to make a splash. Talk about a Woj bomb. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that the Raptors have interviewed former NBA three-point sharpshooter JJ Redick for their open head coaching position. This one kind of came out of nowhere, coming out of left field. Not a name that really anybody had much on the radar as far as coaching jobs. How about a head coaching job? He has zero coaching experience in the NBA whatsoever, but 15 years in the league, a large pedigree, and some high praises from some former head coaches. Well, at least according to JJ. I'm going to go through, break down everything going on with the story, give you my 2 cents on the whole situation. But if you could first, drop a quick like on this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. New videos every single weekday, but let's get into it. All right, so after firing head coach Nick Nurse back in April, the Toronto Raptors have been looking for a new head man, kind of making splash names here. They interviewed Becky Hammon of the Las Vegas Aces. She would potentially be the first woman head coach in the NBA. And then just today, Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that JJ Redick has interviewed with the Raptors. Kind of crazy. Redick has made a name for himself besides being a three-point shooter in the NBA for 15 seasons, a well-added asset to a lot of teams. Never got that championship, though he got pretty close a couple of times. It just never worked out for him. Has become a hot-button media personality as far as appearing on ESPN, First Take, covering some games, and his analysis has been spectacular. He gives you great deep insights as far as from a player's perspective, calling out some of these talking heads on these shows. I know I'm one to talk, right, about what actually is going on. Call them out for some of their nonsense takes. Got a little bit of, kind of in a fight with Kendrick Perkins a couple of weeks ago, but he's been absolutely fantastic as far as media availability and media breaking things down. And he also runs a super successful podcast that he started back in 2016 called The Old Man and the Three. Great name, by the way. He was the first active NBA player to have a podcast, and now we see that shit all the time. NBA guys, Draymond, I'm thinking comes to mind, Pat Bev, running podcasts mid-season. It makes for great content. And JJ, he kind of spoke highly of himself. He wasn't really sure if he wanted to get into coaching or anything like that. He talked during an interview with Esquire in 2022. He goes, it's funny because I've had a lot of coaches throughout my career tell me I would coach when I was done. Last spring, I just started thinking, maybe do I want to coach? Then I randomly got 4 unsolicited, do you want to coach? Do you want to come join the staff from 4 different teams? And truthfully, I considered 2 of them. I just didn't feel like the timing was right. Maybe the timing will never be right. And maybe the media stuff ends up being 20 to 30 year thing. I just know that what I'm doing right now feels like the right thing. So this was back in December of 2022 when talking with Esquire. So maybe some things have changed, but man, I don't know why you would ever want to put yourself in that situation unless you just have that ultimate drive, that ultimate hunger that you're not getting satisfied. We know what a lot of these professional athletes, they have that drive. They got to be competitive. They got to be the best. And maybe he just doesn't quite get that satisfaction from the media game, but I think he is fantastic. It's a cushy gig. He can do whatever he wants. He can live wherever he wants. It's a relaxing. There's not a lot of pressure. There's not a lot of stress on you. You get paid handsomely to do it. NBA coaching, man, that's a whole different beast. It's 82 game grinds. It's dealing with other grown-ass men who are multi-millionaires. Half of the league, Pat Bev says, he doesn't even think half the league likes playing basketball. I couldn't imagine dealing with people like that. That would drive me absolutely insane. So I don't know why you would want to do this. And rarely do you ever, if ever, see a guy go with 0 coaching experience straight to a head coaching spot. Now, this could just be an interview to try and draw some attention. Toronto really needs a big splash. They've fired 2 Coach of the Years within the past 5 seasons. They've had 2 different coaches win Coach of the Year, and they've been fired in the past 5 seasons. So they really have a high turnover rate, low interest in this organization, I think, as far as are we really considering Toronto. They were kind of a fledgling franchise in the playoffs. They got Kawhi Leonard the one season. He hit the most insane shot in basketball history. It led them to a title. But without that, they're just a lot of first-round, second-round exits for the Raptors. Nobody really cares. It's cold in Canada in the winter. Really kind of sucks. High taxes. Do you want to deal with that when you can go play in LA for the same rate and much better weather? I just don't know, man, but this could be a big splash. I'm all for it, honestly. I think JJ was a great basketball player. I loved him when he played for my Sixers. I think he's a really smart guy. I think he adds a lot, but probably want him to get some bench coaching experience just to learn a little bit, get some of the ins and outs. You really don't want to be taken over as a head man. He wouldn't be the youngest head coach in the league. He's 38 years old. Joe Mazzulla in Boston's 34 years old. But we're seeing how much he's really struggling in this postseason with some of the in-game adjustments, and he's been on a successful Celtics bench with other good coaches. So maybe I'd want to see JJ get a couple of years under his belt, maybe 2 to 3 years on a bench, and then take over for a new squad, a much better squad, honestly, if I was him. But it's a very interesting name to keep your eye on, and if the Raptors do go through with this, this could be a big thing where we see ex-NBA players instantly hopping right into the coaching fields, especially if it's successful. People don't want to wait for their success. They don't want to have to go through those extra hoops. They played a successful NBA career. They now instantly want to be in that head coaching pool because they say, we got the knowledge. We know the ins and outs of what goes on. And there's a very fair point to that. But we've seen it kind of blow up in other sports. Jeff Saturday, I'm thinking about in Indianapolis this past season as an interim head coach. So hopefully if they do choose to go with Redick, it works out for him because I'm a big fan of JJ. I'm a big fan of his content. But why would you ever leave unless you really are feeling unfulfilled with your podcast and media coverage? Because right now, he's one of the best guys out there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share this video with your friends, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.